Hello and welcome everybody out there in Twitch and D&D land to the newest session of the Zodiac campaign. I'm not gonna lie, I missed that intro and that opening for everybody. I miss saying that shit. It's been a while. Sorry about my hiatus, everybody. I was dealing with trying to not die. If you've been watching everything for a while, I've had this like mild to intense cough varying. Turns out that I had bronchitis. I still have bronchitis, but I'm getting over it now. So we are doing a lot better. It's going a lot better. I feel functioning. I'm still going to take it easy, but don't worry. I am alive. I am existing. Everything is safe. Everything is great. But we're back in the flow of everything, so I have to do a whole lot of promotions. The first one is going to be our Patreon. Those of you who are already on the Patreon got a little sneak peek over in Arts and Stuff, looking at Patch's first page of Chapter 1 of the New Embrace campaign. A little comic series constructed around characters that I played or want to play in the near future. Actually, no, I've played all of those characters. Yeah, I've played all of them. So it is going to be a fantastic little comic series we are doing. We have a professional artist working on it with us, and if you want early access to this before it is all released for the public, just go ahead and join our Patreon. The link is in the description below, or you can find it in our chat by typing !Patreon. In addition to that, if you want to support us by other means, you can go check out some of our medias on our different platforms. We have a Twitch, a Twitter, a YouTube, a Facebook, and I have to link my TikTok down there. Just as one bit of a heads up, do not associate my TikTok with my professional side. I'm going to be my honest and true self on that TikTok. So if you are interested in how terrible of a human being I am and you want to see exactly how raunchy of jokes I make, you should definitely go over there. I started a series called Every Bard Multiclass, and the first one was Monk. It's a fun one. Oh, look at your puppy. We miss your puppy. But anyways, yeah. Aside from that, is there anything I'm missing? No open slots right now because I'm not accepting anybody into the community. Oh yes, the beginning of the month is hitting, everybody, and you know what that means. I'm scheduling my DM's class. If you are interested in enjoying that, that is a separate tier on our Patreon. Any person who wants to increase their skill as a dungeon master or inquire about how to become a professional dungeon master, like myself, can go on that, select that tier, and attend the classes to learn and pick my brain as best as you want. It turns out that there's quite a few people on the internet who want me to tell them all of the secrets, but now I am setting time aside from my day for people to appreciate and gain access to it. But I believe that is going to be everything from me. Reagan, if you can get the puppy to stop kissing you for 2 seconds. If you can't, it's fine. I understand. No, it's fine. Yeah. No, it's cool. Go ahead and give us a recap.
So, we had finished the fight against Markov. And in the process, we decided to remove his mask and realized that he's actually very ordinary and unassuming, kind of average looking, which is not what we expected at all. We realized that the chains around the heart for Adrian and Yusova needed resurrection because of the way that the magic tied itself around the heart. Marcella and Gavin took Leonidas's body to keep him dead. So they have him kind of in their custody right now. In the middle of that, Imperial helped Reagan retrieve the heart of Markov so that Lucian could then use that to create an augment. Everyone was brought back to their bodies that were waiting elsewhere, and it was at that point that Markov too let them know that Leo's forces had been retreating. So we realized that they have fortified themselves in the mountains to the west, and that it's going to take Akui and her forces about a month to break into the defenses around that area. So we decided to take a little bit of downtime. During that time, Lucifon and Fiona were coming through and terrorizing the area. But we decided that we were going to focus on kind of rebuilding our resources and regrouping. Gabby and Reese decided that they were going to go on a Gabby press tour and and go around and help people, but also throw in there, vote Gabby for goddess. Lucian learned a handy dandy new spell and has wished a few people back to life, and successfully, I think, still has the wish spell. So he's been going well with that. Also made a few augments. Imperial went to his hoard, got a few things, and also made a very large amount of augments as well. And we've been kind of figuring out where things go from there. We've had a few, just kind of biding our time until things are ready to make our move on Leo in his own fortified region there. So we're kind of getting ourselves together for the last struggle.
All right, so you all have been going through your processes, doing your research into different creatures and being of this plane. Reagan, on your journey to Maida Outpost, you've managed to see the strife that has riddled across Zodiac. The suffering of the individuals from the war that has persisted and the fighting that they all had to live through. Noticing all of the people who seem to have very little to nothing to live for. They have no faith, they have no homes, they have no farm, and in some cases no families remaining. You continue on your journey, making it to the outpost, finding all of the people who are still fighting a losing battle to maintain control over this location. There are still aspects of Leo's army that leave his territory to terrorize the local area and push back armies. And you are requested to travel around this mountain range to assist whatever armies are going to be combating and fighting. Do you accept?
For as long as I feel that I can and still make my way to my family estate.
Well, your estate is along the mountainside.
Gotcha. Okay, so then I'll fight kind of my way there.
Yeah. You're within 20 miles of the mountainside.
Okay.
Yeah. It's fairly close. So, you go onto the lines and you begin your battle. Periodically getting woken in the middle of your trance to go assist somebody several miles away. Showing up in the middle of the fight and combat and doing whatever you can to assist them. However, I am going to need you to give me a wisdom saving throw for this.
Okay.
You have two options, Regan.
Mm-hmm.
That is a failure. But this is in relation to your newfound power and form. Being constantly around this amount of bloodshed is dangerous. And though you can still your mind so many times, eventually the cravings are going to start kicking in. And you're not going to be able to fight back. You have two options. The first one, a state of spiritual exhaustion. Meaning an exhaustion point that you would need a pilgrimage to get rid of. Greater Restoration will not do it. Wish will not do it. Or you can give into your cravings on the battlefield.
Would I be able to hold out long enough to, say, conduct a night raid?
No.
Or just in the battle?
It is in the battle.
You
can stave off temptation for periods of time, but when you are actively in the middle of bloodshed, it is much more difficult. You are still young.
She'll take the exhaustion.
Very well. Please mark that down. However, people take notes of the suffering that you are going through to help them. And the periodic fear that the soldiers originally show towards you starts turning into a sign of respect when people start noticing what you do. Very few people remember you from when you were younger as the heiress to the Maida village. But some people start noticing. Some people start remembering you. And it seems to strengthen their morale and assistance. I now need a dexterity check from you.
Just a check.
Not bad. You managed to turn the tide of the battle and to safeguard this location with minimal casualties on both sides. Now, you don't manage to kill very many of the Leo soldiers, as you do still remember that they are, as many of the devoted on this land are, brainwashed into their service. It's not necessarily their fault, but you still cannot allow them to do what they are doing.
Kind of more focused on incapacitating than...
Yes. Now, while you were going through this battle, you notice somebody. Somebody fairly old, especially for a wood elf, wandering through the battlefield. They stop periodically to kneel over some of the dead. And they seem to be doing some type of symbols with their hand. You recognize it from things similar to what Gabby does. They don't have any clear association with anybody. You just see them on the battlefield.
And they are helping both sides?
Yes.
I'd probably ask their motivation. Just...
All right. So you approach them.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
You heal both our people and theirs.
The individual kind of pulls their hood back a little bit to let it rest right on the fronts of their ears as they look over at you. You see violent scarring across their face. A large gash directly across their neck. And very sharp eyes as they look up at you. Yes, I do.
You have no investment in either way this war goes?
I have many investments. This war is just one.
You're thinking beyond the war, then?
Always.
That's good. We need more people who can see beyond the end of this battle.
This battle will not end. Never will. They stand up and you watch as the body they were just kneeling over kind of lifts up slightly above their hand and then collapses to the ground again.
Are you saying this fight is it always going to be this way with these gods?
It always has been.
Then perhaps there needs to be some changes.
And you believe you are the one to do this, Reagan?
I don't know if I am, or if I'm the one to find that person, or if that person is 100 years away. But if this is the result of having these gods, then what good are they?
You know you are not the first one to speak like that. You see, not very far away from you, one of the bodies shifts, stretches, and begins darting towards you with a spear. And before it gets within 15 feet of you, you watch as a giant sickle slams down connected to a chain directly into their head. And the individual standing in front of you flicks the chain and pulls the sickle back to their hand.
That's a useful weapon.
No, it isn't. All it does is kill. But I have a message for your friends. Me and my sisters were asked to come here and to act out our purpose. I am the first. They will be the last. The ones that have true power are tired of Zodiac. And based off of the tide of this war, we will be the ones ending it. They say this to you with no expression of emotion, no regret, no joy, nothing.
You're like Gabby's gods. Outside of the Zodiac.
And like Reese's. Though the one who can call us is above all else. This plane has been given its opportunity. Time and time again. And those that hold dominion have never proven themselves to deserve anything. The primordials were chaotic and destructive. The dragons, tyrannical. And the gods, immature.
Do you look to take back Zodiac, or
Destroy it.
destroy?
And I do not look for anything. I simply serve.
Is there a way to show the one that you serve that there could be a part of Zodiac we're saving?
I would not know. Though my sister would. My sister. She sees that which plagues everybody. Plagues the mind of the gods, plagues the mind of the mortals. And she brings it to existence. Only she has seen what plagues the mind of whom we serve.
So if they had any doubt, she would be the one to know.
They nod. You see a soldier on your side begin crawling towards a weapon. And the individual raises their hand and drops their sickle into their neck. And then just plucks it back out as if they're plucking a flower.
Morgan would just restrain herself from saying anything, knowing that this person's got no loyalty on either side. Is there a way to know your name or your sister's names?
We are named after that which we are good at. What we do, what our calling is. You may call me Death. My sisters, pestilence, war, and famine. They are on their way.
Let's see. If anything were to bring about the end of Zodiac, it would be those things.
For the first time since you've seen them, they smile. Now, my blade is still hungry. Be safe. They turn and just as casually as somebody moving through a field swing their sickle from side to side, cutting people that were just barely brought back to life by them. Just whistling.
She'd probably have to take a long time to process that.
Sure. And you're welcome to roll me a religion check as well.
Sure. Let's see. Oh! Okay. Not bad.
You might think otherwise.
For me, it's not bad.
Oh no, the roll is a success.
Oh.
But knowledge is not always good.
Oh no.
Your father used to sing you songs and tell you stories when you were just a small little helpless child. And whenever you would do very well in your training, his reward to you was a scary story. Something that would frighten you and shake you to your core, that as a very young Reagan, you honestly enjoyed. It felt fun. The story of 4 horses that would gallop through the land as a force of nature, and everywhere they stepped, alter the change of those in the area. One whom would step through and cause death to all that gazed or looked upon them, who cared not for any sensations, any loyalties, any alignment. The simple gaze into this horse's eyes would cause them to be crippled with fear and their heart to stop. Another horse with a beautiful mane that constantly had bugs crawling and creeping through it. A maw that when it opened showed cobwebs entangled inside. And as they would cough out, a noxious gas would ripple through the area, causing people to fall with sickness, boils and blisters breaking, and dying. Another one that would leave people so incredibly insatiable that they will kill, they will murder, they will terrorize anybody just to get something to eat. But they would never be satisfied until they would gorge themselves to death. There was one that could move through the area and seemingly leave no repercussions. This is the most dangerous one, for they would spike an anger in everybody, of rage that could not end. And all that those that looked upon them would do is fight and kill. Never ending, never stopping. You always just thought the story was some type of fairy tale. And unfortunately, your father had too much world experience for that. So, you head back to your tent with the same goosebumps and shiver up your spine that you remember from when you were just a small girl. Now we're going over to Gabby and Iblis. Gabby, or sorry, this music is a little too, one second. We're getting there, don't worry. There we go.
Did you mean Reese as well? Because I'm with Gabby. You said Iblis.
Reese went with Gabby. Okay, Iblis, you went with Gabby too, right? No? What the fuck do my notes say? Sorry, it's been a couple of weeks. We're getting back into the swing of this.
It's the letter I sent.
Oh, you've done nothing else and you didn't want to do anything else?
No, I went to fix Nobu and find him, shit like that, and then front lines after that.
Yeah.
Possibly, if that letter gets through, Willie, talk to her. If not, I'll probably try to contact Levistus.
We'll start with Gabby and Reese. Gabby, you've just finished your stretch across the Water Territory's beaches. A new village that seemed to be suffering from a lack of food and drinkable water. You've topped them off with everything they would need to fish for the proper materials, get the drinkable water in barrels, and to eat at least for the next few days. You leave the place feeling good. You feel happy. Your purpose has been very fulfilling. And you start noticing some things. Those that are devoted to their deity seem to watch you a little bit more suspiciously. Every now and again, a quick little whisper through their ear, as they just seem to be a little bit more mistrusting of you. But you notice other things. Some people who seemed wavering in their faith, looking at you with almost a glint of beauty in their eyes. Even a few small children just run up and start playing with your wings. Mesmerized that somebody can be as beautiful as you. Gabby, I need a charisma saving throw from you. All right, not bad. Not bad. You can see why these minor deities kind of get full of themselves. It's easy when you're looked upon with that level of fondness, not just from yourself, but from others. It's easy to fall prey to the seductions of having power and dominion over people. However, you know that this is probably one of their fatal flaws. More than likely, this is why these deities are failing. It's because they bathe in the love of others for the sake of doing it, not for the sake of protecting them. And you manage to keep yourself and your true goal as pure as the day you discovered it. Now, the two of you travel a very vast distance, going across the northern regions of Zodiac and dropping it down a little bit into the open plains of the Earth territory. Reese, you continue doing your research and trying to figure out the system of creating this new magic. The way to call upon the essence that lingers within an individual and pull at it to reconstruct them. Much the same way that you have your magic just innately inside of you. Something that you can pull a thread and gain access to. You're looking at how to pull the threads of others to empower, imbue, or even reconstruct them. About 3 months in, Gabby, you're sitting down at a small little hearth in a humble home from people who just offered you a place to stay. Reese, you feel a tug in the back of your head. And then you feel compelled to go outside. And while outside, you look up at the sky that is usually riddled with stars and the shining, beautiful twin moons that encircle and eclipse each other. And it's void. Not in an ominous way. It seems absent of things and sensations that others aspire towards. And as you stare up at this vast, infinite space that you are very familiar with, you see a white face appear inside. Expressionless, devoid of any discernible features or aspects. Nothing but divots where eyes should be and a single line where a mouth should be. As you recognize your deity staring down upon you. You look around to be sure nobody is about, and then you flex your back, releasing your wings, and ascend up to the sky. Crossing through the barriers of the clouds and the barriers of the magical compulsion that keeps everybody focused and grounded. Though to Lucian, he knows that this is gravity. To you, it is a magical compulsion. And as you glide past that, you land in the open infinite. And the face approaches closer. There's a darker outline that seems to envelop around you, giving you a place that you can stand on in this vast infinite. Reese, I know I am not supposed to speak to you unless the others agree that I shall. But I have to give you a warning. The champions of AU are coming to Zodiac. He does not believe that I and that you can save it this time.
When will they be arriving?
Death has already come. His sisters are on the way.
So Death is here, and how many of them are there in total?
4.
4. And they don't think we can salvage this plane?
They do not think. AU does.
AU does the thinking for them. Is that what you're telling me?
She nods.
So they're automatons? They can't think for themselves?
They are forces. Personified and given a face. Nothing more.
And what are these forces? Individually?
Death, pestilence, war, and famine.
And they are here to
Erase Zodiac. If you all shall fail.
Why are they so afraid of Zodiac?
They are not afraid. They are tired. This plane has existed as long as many of the other material realms, and it has never evolved. They've never changed their ways. Just a different face enacting its rule.
An endless cycle of death and destruction is what they tire of? Is that what you're telling me?
She nods.
So in order for us to prove them otherwise, there needs to be stability in this plane. Is that our objective?
I cannot tell you the solution to this. AU will not allow that.
Jero, out of game, AU. What do I know about AU as a deity?
AO, sorry, AO.
AO, what do I...
You know very little other than he is the deity above all else. He is
So
the
it's
one
like the
who...
omni-deity.
Yes, he is the only deity that is truly omnipotent.
Okay.
But you
Is
know
it-
nothing else about him.
Okay, so it's so powerful that it keeps itself a secret, and even like my newly acquired proficiency in religion and all that would not help me.
Would not help at all.
Okay.
All you would
And-
know is this is your god's boss.
Yeah,
Of sorts.
my god's god.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything I should know about, like, I'm getting the impression that you already did something that you're not supposed to, and you don't want to risk any more retribution and can't share any more information with me. Is that it, or is there anything else you can tell me so I can be better prepared for what's to come?
You should seek the full history of Zodiac. Understand why he is tired of it.
Very well. I most definitely will begin my studies immediately and do whatever I need to do to ensure this plane is not terminated.
She looks down past you. How is the daughter of Sune?
Gabriella,
Nods.
she is righteous, has a good heart. If properly observed and protected, it can be kept pure so she doesn't fall, like all the others we have seen before, to her own hubris. As always, that is a factor we can't fully control. But I can make sure that she's observed and warded through my efforts, at least.
Thank you. Thank you, my champion.
Nothing to be thanking me for. It is the reason for my existence. I will not let what happened to my plane happen to the others.
She nods. The thread you are reaching for is behind your heart.
We shall find it and follow it
No,
to its bitter.
literally. Her hand
Oh.
drifts down, and you see
Yeah.
a single thread gets pulled.
Mm-hmm.
One that nobody else sees, though you do because of your attunement to her. And as she tugs at that, you feel a gargling rage and roar emanating into your existence. And you feel your body in essence contorting and shifting as she pulls it just a little further. And you watch as your body twists and contorts, elongating, growing a tail and wings becoming vast and powerful. You look from side to side, and the expressionless being continues looking upon you. That is the thread you pull.
Out of game. Did I turn into my
Draconic
Demo-
form, yes.
Okay. I fully assumed it.
Yes, now you drop out of it when you want, but
Mm-hmm.
she's just showing you how to do it, since you've been practicing for so long.
Mm-hmm. It was about time. I earned this, and I won't let you down.
She nods.
I will try, or die trying.
Though it is my time to let you down. And you get confused for a second, but she simply releases her grip.
Mm-hmm.
And you begin ascending and flying back down to Zodiac.
Mm-hmm.
Gabby, the roof on this tiny house begins shaking and rattling aggressively from winds roaring through the area. Gabby? Nope, still
You're
muted.
muted. You're still
muted.
Is the button stuck? Okay, there you go.
I think Jero muted me when we started.
I heard somebody talking, so I muted everybody.
Okay. Yes, I stand up and I draw my sword.
Alrighty. You go outside and you see this vast, magnificent-looking being descending down and just standing on the ground.
Do I recognize it? At least similar to what Reese has been turning into?
Well,
Reese
I
has
think-
been trying to turn into it.
Mhm. This is the first change.
Yeah.
Full change.
This is the first time you're seeing the execution of Reese's efforts.
I put my sword away and relax.
Yeah, what you see is a liquid silver dragon with red, like it has sort of like armor plates, but under it there's a red skin. It's almost like a hybrid between a demon and a dragon. You can see both types of scales and skin that belong to two different types of beings.
I throw my hand out and say, nice to properly meet you.
I want the time to be right for you to meet my true self, even though my presentation is not the most radiant, which is what you seem to have preferred, but I assure you, its intentions are good.
I prefer a friend, and no matter what form it comes in.
You always know how to say the right things. I have been informed by my sources that there's trouble ahead. Even more so than what we're experiencing right now. AO's champions. One of them is already here.
Who?
And the rest of them on their way. AO, I don't know if you heard, is the Omni-God. The god above all gods. And it is tired of the problem Zodiac is. The constant cycle of death and destruction has stirred many in the celestial courts, and they decided it is time to end it.
So he's not from this plane?
No. He's from all the planes and none of them at the same time.
Well, for us to catch the gaze of somebody so powerful, we must really be doing something wrong here in Zodiac. And that's all more reason for us to drop the gods that we have now faster. Make a change.
Exactly. We will have an opportunity, but we need to bring peace and stability. Otherwise, they will finish what they started.
Well, it sounds like we need to get back to the other guys then and let them know what's going on.
One other thing I need to mention is the fact that I need all the information I can on the history of this plane, because from what I've been told, the answers that we're looking for are hidden in the entire history of this existence. Do you know of any big libraries or tomes that we can glean what we need from?
Books were never really my thing. We probably need to talk to Lucian.
Very well. Time is of essence. We should be on our way. And if you don't mind, unless you have something else to do, I will not be offended if you want me to give you a ride. I can only do it at certain sets of time, but it'll still be helpful in our travels.
Oh, yeah, that would be huge. Are we leaving now, or?
We should. Time,
Okay.
as I said, is of essence.
All right, let me go say goodbye real quick. And I go back inside the little house, say goodbye to the family that offered to let us stay the night, and I give them 800 copper pieces.
Alrighty. So 80 gold.
Good tip.
Wait, 8
Good
gold.
tip.
8 gold.
8 gold.
8 gold. That's still a fuck ton, alright, to them.
Right, for a regular person, yeah.
This should be your meals for the next year. Alrighty. They graciously accept and smile at you. So the two of you start heading back. And I believe you have to do it the old-fashioned way, right? Hoofing it? Neither of you have teleport, right?
Well, I do have teleport. Remember, I have my sigil runes that I was collecting.
Yes.
Now I remember. And also, I can fly 2 hours at a time. So if that helps, before a long rest.
It would help you, but not Gabby.
Well, no, I can fly 2 hours at a time with her.
As your form, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
But your teleport works very easily.
Okay.
You can literally show back up in Morian. That day.
Even then, what I'll do is I'll give this is not going to sound proper, but a joyride to Gabriella so she can feel it, what it feels like to be riding a dragon. And then I'll turn to her and say, now we can teleport. and then we land, I will transform back and activate the runes, and we'll go wherever we need to go to meet the others.
Alrighty. So, I think this is a good place for us to take a break, everybody. Everyone, we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.